I'm glad to see so many out tonight. It means you got my messages. I'm thrilled and delighted to be able to introduce you to Jeff and Amy. And many of you may know Mary. The mother was always down at the mill too. So, how many of us drive by that mill and go, oh yeah, the mill. How many people say, what's that all about? Now you're going to have all those answers tonight. So may I turn the program over to the prices and fill us with knowledge.
Okay. We'll do our best. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So we are the current owners of the mill, Jeff and Amy, and first thing we want to say is thank you. We really appreciate the invitation to come and talk and the time to be with you guys. We joke that we think it's a really cool old building, but we're excited that other people think it's a cool old building too. So that was really exciting for us. You want to start?
Absolutely. So, history is an interesting thing. You have facts and you have opinions, and you have a lot of ideas as to what, well, that's what my mother said. Well, that's what her mother said. That's what her mother said. Everything that I put in here is what I know of. I was born in 1982, so I don't know what happened in 1904. But I can go off of historical records, I can go off of newspaper articles, that's where a lot of this information came. And the connection with here and Imperial, I was always told that that mill was here in the 1800s. And that there was some flood in the 1880s, and either that flood went away, and then I believe the gentleman's name was at Harlow?
Alonzo T. Harlow.
Alonzo T. Harlow, and he's actually the one who also built the house I grew up in. But that Alonzo T. Harlow then built the mill at the current site in sometime 1903 or 1904.
He built your grandma's house.
It was my grandma's house,
Yeah,
okay.
he built your grandma's house.
And my grandmother's house that it was started before the Civil War in the late 1850s. And it was finished after the Civil War. It's the house right outside of Kimmswick. When you drive over the bridge, you look up to the right on top of the hill. That's where my grandmother lived. And then, so we personally have a lot of connection with Imperial and Kimmswick, and apologies if I'm repeating what you all know better than I do. But what our research said was the community of Imperial was once called West Kimmswick, which makes sense. Liberty, and then it was also called Rockport before the present name of Imperial. The name stuck from a clock factory that existed, it sounds like, for 2 to 3 years near the Bear Garden property now during World War I, and it was called the Imperial Clock Company. And we had a blast going through the Wikipedia page because it actually, when you look up Imperial, Missouri, it's a picture of
the mill.
So, yay, good for us.
I was like, oh, there we are.
And the exact same thing happened with our Google rankings. We looked at it one day, like, oh, we have 70. Oh, we're a 4.8. Wow, good for you. And then my mom, and I'll get back to it, my mom obviously is a huge cornerstone piece of that, and I'll give her the credit even though she's not here. She could be hiding somewhere, I'll act like she is. So in 2020, the last census, we have a population of around 5,000 people. So we're growing. So the story of the mill that I know from the paper, the Joggers Milling Company, or the mill, was built at this site in 1904. Established in that year, the Joggers Milling Company, and you can see Joggers still on the building. So the Joggers Milling Company has been owned by the same family now for 55 years. And that's me, my mother, and my grandfather. And my wife, of course, I can't forget her. The first function of the mill was a grain elevator for human food, as we call it, by the Nansen Commission Company to serve what was then a very rural farming community. Loads of grain were pumped into steam locomotive cars for the Frisco Railroad, and as you know, there used to be a stop there right by the mill where the train tracks are. There used to be cars that would come by and the mill would service those train cars. So they were pumped, farmers carted off feed away in wagons and buggies or in burlap sacks in the bag of horses, and that is not an exaggeration. My grandpa in the 70s sold to this old German Antonia farmer who'd come in on his meal in his buggy and didn't speak a lick of English, and would sell to him. So this history lasted up into the 70s and 80s, this kind of ancient history. So the grain elevator itself for the human food was open until around 1937. when it was purchased by Frank Joggers, who had been a miller with his father since he was 14. They immediately dismantled the grain elevator and built 3 floors to convert the building to a flour mill, which continued to operate until 46. That year, the building was once again converted to feed mixing and sales. Then in 1970, my grandfather Norman Eschball and my uncle Raymond Nickman bought in 1970, and then they started to sell horse and dog feed, wild bird seed, farm and poultry needs, and rabbit feed, excuse me. He ran it until he retired in the early 1990s, and then he rented it out until his passing. And one little tidbit about my grandfather too, there obviously with history, words changed, the meaning of words changed. And there was a really popular dog food in the 70s called Dixie dog food. And my grandpa was the #1 seller in the country of Dixie dog food.
There we go.
Right
Yeah, thank you, Normie. Appreciate it, Normie. So then, Mary's story. So my grandfather, he was also a printer. He loved his pipes, and then he worked the mill where there's corn dust, ancient dust. And when he got sick, he then rented it out. When he passed away, my grandma, Virginia Eschball, rented it out. And then when she passed, the building was passed on to my mother. She rented it out once, and in 2008, she decided to say, to heck with this, I'm going to run it. And I'm not going to tell you her age, but she ran this sucker until this past year. So she worked when she was younger. She did a lot of jobs. And when she was married to my father, she was a stay-at-home mother and raised us 4 kids. We had a 7-acre, and she is a master gardener. She had a herb garden. She kept really busy with yard maintenance, and she forced a chunky little boy me out there to do a lot of yard work, which I hated. I hated the mulch that she would get. I would shovel the mulch, I would put it in a barrel, then I would dump the mulch. I would just do that what felt like forever. And now I take on the time-honored tradition of annoying my child to make him move mulch and make him move dirt. And actually this week it's been strong. Exactly.
Grassy.
So, and we had just all this knowledge. My grandmother, my grandfather, they lived on that property. I think it was a 5 or 6 acre property. They had horses. So we just have been fortunate to get a lot of the old-timey kind of fixes that we've just lost through convenience or through just attrition. So we kind of had some secret sauce on how to treat bugs with stuff that you can eat, right? Diatomaceous syrup, it's a miracle. And I can get into that if anybody's curious about it, but it's ground up fossil shell that people eat, and that is deadly to bugs. So she opened up the mill in 2008, and if anybody remembers, 2008 was pretty a hellacious time. So she opened it up, and she pretty much ran it by herself for 16 years. And she's an ornery German lady, maybe $130 soaking wet, 130 pounds, and she would carry 50 pounds. Absolutely, and ornery is an ox too. And she really helped out thousands of people once you sit down and do the math to help feed their birds, feed their dogs, feed their cats, help with their yard needs, help with their gardening. And then in 2024, my wife and I, Amy, approached her about buying the business, and she agreed. So after 16 years of being in the family, we wanted to keep it going. We didn't want to strip it down. We didn't want to sell it to somebody who didn't appreciate it. So.
But we didn't let her leave either. We were
Oh.
like, you can't go anywhere because you know everything and everyone knows you, so you have to stay here.
Absolutely. So she still works with us. My nephew works with us, and then it's my wife and I. And I'm a commercial real estate broker for my day job. My wife is a juggler of wifing and real estate and this too. So it's truly a family effort to keep it within the family.
And over the summer, my kids came up and worked with me, and they loved it. I mean, they had just the best time, mainly pushing the buttons on the register, but they had a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun.
And then, so I just kind of wanted to go back. So we bought it in 2024, but who the heck are we? I'm from Barnhart, she's from Arnold. I joke all the time, I traveled the world to marry a girl from Arnold, which you hate, but that's what it is. We met in 2008, and then, if I'm being honest, I just flirted with her the first time I ever saw her, and then it resulted in an 11-year marriage. We lived in St. Louis. I was a residential real estate agent. She was a teacher. It was fine. Then it wasn't. Then we moved to Baldwin, where it was fine. Then it wasn't. And really, acreage was calling me. I grew up on 7 acres. I'm a residential broker, a residential developer who tried to create 2 to 5 to 10 acre parcels for people. And I was living in a 1/10 of an acre. And I just felt like a primate in a little cage. And I just needed space. So Jeffco was calling me. And I get teased. I work in Brentwood all the time. And they're like, oh, Jeffco, you really like Jeffco? Like, yes, I do. I've been to some of the most amazing places on earth, and I miss it here. I think we have some of the most fantastic, reasonable and real people here. I love the topography. I love the nature. Don't like the humidity. But everything else is really, really darn good about this. So we were fortunate enough to buy 10 acres. We built a barn dominium, which, funny enough, kind of looks like the mill. But
It wasn't on purpose, but that kind of.
there's only so much you can do with steel or tin. So in 2024, we ended up buying it from my mom, and really wanted to keep the business, like I said, within the family. So Amy, can you point out that tractor? So this tractor, like I said, my grandpa bought it in 1970. I was born in 82. In 1984, I was a chunky little kid. Well, maybe 86. It's pretty heavy. So I took that and I drove it on the corn. It's on the side wall. That corn is exactly where it was when I started to play. My 3-year-old daughter is playing in the exact same place as I am, and I find that historical. I was a history major myself. Love history. I've done archaeological digs in Ireland. I've done some in the area as well. My uncle that I had mentioned before, Raymond, he was also part of the Mastodon, or part of the original dig too. So that just kind of is running our family. If you know anything about my dad, man, is he a nerd, but in all the great ways. And we just history. And I'm now doing that to my son, who hates it, but will eventually grow to love it like I did as well. So our children are 4th generation helpers. And one thing that has always been in my head, that this building was built in 1904. They used lumber. At that time, it wasn't 20-year new growth lumber. It was ancient lumber, 50 or 100-year lumber. When I do the math, that tree could have been growing when George Washington was alive. Because if it's 1799, I had to look it up, I'm being honest. 1799, he passed away. Some of that lumber in the mill, the growth rings are centimeters apart, maybe even millimeters. That's old ancient growth. It had to be 100 years old. So we have wood in our building that I feel was definitely in the 1800s, but maybe even in the 1700s. So again, kind of ancient, kind of tactile. I love it. So our values, we have kind of carried on most of the same traditions that my grandfather started, that my mother did too, but with increased emphasis on local. So we buy honey, and we brought some from Imperial. Our supplier, dog food makers, from Missouri. Our seed producer, our bird seed, is from Illinois. Sorry, but it's Illinois, right? And then
Trying to keep it all in Missouri, but we had to go.
we went there. It's Wisconsin, it's Minnesota, it's Michigan. We do Jeffco, Missouri, Midwest, America, and then we look internationally. And the only thing that we really have to do internationally are our bird feeders. They don't really make them in America, unfortunately, at the price that people get them in. So we are really focused on that. It's been nice because it's actually changed our lives. We shop at Harold's more. We shop at the farmer's market more. We shop at Karsh's more. By the way, amazing beefs. Hops and Lumber, they are probably sick of us now at this point. All the times we've had to go in.
Questions. Yeah.
Well, but that's why you go there, because you go to Home Depot, you're like, hey, what do you do? And some people are very knowledgeable and very good, but it's a crapshoot. Some people aren't. Some people are just, hey, I'm here, I'm a heartbeat, I'm getting paid $16 an hour, I just want to go home. You get just a little bit of a different care. You have the community. You know each other. You know each other's kids. I'm trying to think of all the people on Imperial Main Street. I know Rose was a teller for 20-something years, and she was the first lady I talked to when I opened up my bank account. A girl I went to St. Joe's with and St. Pius with, she's owns a haircutting business right up the street. I've become professional friends, I'll call it, with Jeff from Harold's Market. I coach my son's baseball team while we buy our raffle stuff from him. So this has been such a historic, great, deep moment, and such a great way to reach out to the community. So when the lovely ladies came to our shop to ask us, would you take some time and speak? Yes, that fits in exactly with what we're doing. And I'm, like she said, I'm glad other people like this, like we do. And we really think it's cool. I think it's really cool. And there's so many little details about it, but I won't get into everything. So I kind of hit this pretty much. We do a lot of made in America, and it's just, oh, Max, sorry.
Max is the real appeal. That's the draw. Really, everyone comes to the store to see Max. He lives there, and that is everyone's favorite.
He acts like nobody pets him. He acts like nobody feeds him.
He will beg you
He
for
looks a little
pets.
skinny there, though.
I know.
He-
He's not. I caught him at a good angle.
He's been losing weight. There's nothing wrong with
So I
that.
did just give him a good brushing the other day before I took that.
Did you?
So
Well, maybe
he
that's
had
it.
lost a little fur too, but yeah, no, he's the real draw.
And we did not find Max. Max found us.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Hit
if
the jet up.
If anybody remembers, we used to have a cat called Millie, 70-pound tub of ham. Like, it really probably 35 pounds, big fat orange cat, and we just need them. We get the worst of micers. They don't do anything. They just sit there and sit on our
They
desk.
don't catch anything,
Nothing at
but
all.
they will remind you at 4 o'clock to give them their bowl of snacks.
The protein
They will
puffs.
yell at you. Yeah.
So within kind of our concept, again, local, I'm from here. I chose to live here on purpose, and I say that kind of as a joke, but people who aren't from here don't understand why a lot of us live here, and you have those like familial connections. And my dad always told me, you're representing my name. And I'm like, shut up, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you represent my name, you absolutely keep, you behave well, you do nice things. I don't want to hear about anybody, you acting up. I don't want it coming back to me. And of course, oh, whatever, Dad. Best piece of advice he ever gave me. Like I said, I'm a commercial real estate broker. 9 times out of 10 in Jefferson County, oh, do you know blank? Oh, yes, I do. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're cousins. Oh, we're cousins. Oh, we're cousins. And then for the side I don't know, her mother and father are very involved in Arnold. So if I don't know Arnold, hey, Kathleen, do you know the Smiths? Do you know this? Do you know that? So, again, this shop is about family, it's about community, it's about Jeffco, it's about my commercial business. Yes, I will sell any, warehouses in certain places, but I'm trying to bring nice things here. I'm trying to bring restaurants here. I'm trying to bring a doggy daycare here. I'm trying to bring needs that we have, because this is a good place, and I want people to know it. I always joke with my co-brokers, anytime there's a fire in Festus, they'll find the most toothless lady they can possibly find, and they'll be sure that she speaks for us, and it's, no. I grew up in a development family that we talk with the local lawyers, doctors, Indian chiefs, and it's like, I think this is one of the best places on earth. So I'm a huge cheerleader for this place. I'd love to talk to you about that, so I appreciate you having us. So our goal as the owners of the mill is to keep it local, but to keep it high standards established by my family and the people who treated that place well, to be a knowledgeable place for people's needs. Now our community has changed. We used to be much more of an agriculture community, now we're much more suburban. So what does that mean? Well, I don't sell so much goat feed, but I sell a lot of dog food, because people have pets. We don't, people ask for these gigantic bales of hay, and we don't really feed horses. There's not a whole lot of good ground for that here. We'll get you a little bit for your yard, but not so much for feeding. So we really like to take care of pets, and we have pets. We have a dog named Bitsy, and she's the smartest, dumbest thing I've ever met in my life, and she is a sweet dog, but there are a lot of other people who want to take care of their pets well.
She made friends with the skunk on Saturday night.
Yeah.
That was really fun. That was a fun night.
All sorts of new smells with skunk.
At 9:30 at night, right when we were like getting ready for bed.
It was great, and it's
Still great. I can
Still-
still smell it when I walk in my house.
but we have showers, so don't you worry.
Oh my goodness.
And so also what we've done is we've gone to farmers market and again local entrepreneurs, and we've worked with them to bring their products into our store as well. So we've had jewelry makers, we have a couple sets of craft makers.
Candles, soaps, different stuff. She's on
So
hiatus for doing that.
she's
right
on
now.
hiatus
Mary
for a
might
reason.
Pick it up though.
I don't want to overpromise anything, but I think hand lotions and soaps will come back to the stores.
Okay.
So we also have some other new products in. We have a deer boost that is for fawns and nursing mothers that helps with antler growth and development. There are some high premium type of cardinal bird seed that we want to manufacture and bring to the store. So we're trying to not only buy from local people, but be one of those local people. So we really want to celebrate what's good. I want this place to be what's good about Jefferson County, right? I don't want to sit there and talk. It's almost like a bartender or barber shop sometimes, where some days it's hello, how are you? Other days it's tell me all your problems. And that's fine. If it's a third place that people can go to and be comfortable and have a little bit of love and existence, I love it. So we are also part psychologists, but very minor. But another thing we want to be is an educational resource for people. Everybody has a right to do what they want to with their lawn. I prefer to go the natural method if it works. If it doesn't work, then I move up and up and up. I had problems with wild onions in my yard. I tried the organic, then I tried the natural, then I tried the spray. They got it with Roundup concentrate. So I usually will not do that. Yeah, I'll usually go the other way, but you know, there are ways and methods on how to go after certain things. So this is something that Amy wanted to add. You want to speak on this?
Sure. I just wanted to take some pictures of some of the equipment that's still in the building, because this is, I think, the coolest part when you come in. It's almost like you go back in time, and I think part of that barbershop, people like sitting and talking, is that feeling of things slow down a little bit in the mill, and so we have this is on the first story of our building. When you walk in and you're by the birdseed looking, and there's still all the gears are still up there, and the belts that you can see where, you know, they were pulling those grain elevator scoops up and down. And then this is in our dog food room. We sell dog and cat food right underneath this thing, but this is this giant old chute that they obviously used to fill the sacks before they load them out on the carts. And so it's just cool to me that, you know, that's been preserved and that's there, and there's two more vehicles.
Well, and just to add real quickly, this system was like a scoop system where you would take something from the first floor, scoop it up to the third, do the process, whether it's cracking it, grinding it, whatever, and then that chute brings it back down. So when you actually come into the mill, you're actually on the second floor. There's a whole other floor underneath, and then 2 floors above.
I haven't been down there.
Yeah. I have not. I've not been able to since about 6, just size-wise. It's very, very small containers and whatnot. So there are all these little compartments, and there's still some rooms I don't know where they are, where they exist. My mom showed me everything, but I know I haven't seen everything.
There's a spot out from the outside you can peek in, and I'm like, I don't know how to get to that spot. So, so again, like, so some of the original gears that you can see, that old, just very old antique kind of look to them, and that's up on the second floor. So those are, again, moving the belts and then this is the actual elevator scoops that they're talking about. So they're just attached to that canvas strap, and then when the gears crank and the belts turn, and then that lifts up, and those you can still open on the second floor. I can open the whole column and actually look in and see those still sitting there. And so it's just kind of cool that some of that was left and just preserved, and I'm not planning on touching it. It's going to stay there. Hopefully at some point we'll clean off that second story, and with a little repair of the staircase, make it stable for people to go up and see, and that can be something we kind of open up for people. I have a lot of people that come in and like, can we go upstairs? And I'm like, no, not yet. Like, I want an engineer to tell me it's totally safe before I send people up there. So, but yeah, did you have a question?
Yes, what's your power source?
Well, we have electric, so that's good, but we don't have running water, and we don't have like central heating and cooling, but we do have electric. So
It's knob and tube that was put in the 40s, I think. So this was obviously 1904, before indoor plumbing, before electricity, before all of this. So the stuff that we've had is putting it on. And if you use the microwave while you're making a coffee and then turn on your computer.
Or the fan, don't turn the fan on.
Yeah, do not do that. But all joking aside, it's a pretty well wired system we have. And then it's, you know, it didn't happen. So you just figure it out and you get used to it. There is really no insulation to speak of. And during the summers it's hot, during the winters it's cold. And we have some space heaters that we run, but we try to keep costs down with it. So it's, when you're going here, you're going to work. And it's going to be cold or it's going to be hot. And if it's not, then you're going to be lifting tons and tons of this stuff. We don't have the room for motorized equipment here, so everything we do here is manual. And I'll be honest, that's one reason why I bought this place. I was sitting there on my computer doing my real estate stuff, going crazy because it didn't feel real. It's not hard work, right? This is hard work. I can wipe my brow and I can feel it in my body. And that's, again, kind of going back to ancient stuff. I feel, and this may be a generational thing, but a lot of people around our age, and I feel this goes to a lot of people, we're going back to what our grandparents did. We're going back because there's a certain way that they did things that I think a lot of us view as a better, simpler, more direct way of doing things. And so our kids are named very, grandpa-y names. It's Abigail and it's Henry. And, that's just the way that we prefer to go. And there's something right about that time. There's something nostalgic about that time. And
it leaves you tired at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You sleep well. You get your rest. So that's good.
you do. And there's something I wanted to add too to this. That I always loved about history. How the heck did they build those mounds, the Clovis Indians? How did they do that? How did they build the pyramids? And really, when you get down to it, you have Roman concrete that gets harder with time. It gets harder when it breaks. It's trial-and-error, but so much of what they've done in the past does not have to be redone. It's already done. So do that and build on top of that. That's my little soapbox I'll get off of.
Yeah, they built that big mound down in Cahokia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually unreal.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
Well, and then they also they think that it's like a wood hinge, so they can calculate the sun and the moon movements just by sitting there and observing it. And they did this without the concept of zero, or they did all of these things, and I'm sitting there mad, well, do I need to speak with this lawyer about this issue or not? And it's just a totally different set of problems than what our ancestors had. And I prefer their problems, not mine. I say that now. Wait till I have no glasses, no food, and a
I do
family.
like indoor plumbing. That's
Yeah,
Very nice.
that's always a
I'll
plus.
stick with that.
Was this it?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, so that's pretty much it with the building presentation. So what I'm told too, it was the only 3-story tall building in Imperial. I don't know if that's still true or not, but it is one of the longest lasting. And there's always a survival bias with these things. This is here. I don't even tell you how many train derailments or tornadoes that place has survived, but this many-ish over the time, and well built. Just it's a family jewel, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with the community and with you, your group. And it's just I love it, and I love the fact that you all love it as well. So really appreciate it, and love if you guys have any questions about the modern day, past day, anything else. I'd love to answer it. Yes, miss?
What are your hours?
We are Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4, Sunday 9 to 3, or 11 to 3, excuse me. So we've added a new Sunday since we've taken ownership.
Yeah.
We, through the guile of many people, we added an automatic payment system. That's really great for me working the numbers, but it's a clover system, so people don't like it. So right now we're in the market to buy an old-timey cash
People
register.
are okay with it. Mary didn't love it.
Maybe Mary.
People miss the little tickets that she write out. And I understand that.
But I would
But
really
I
see
have 3
my,
little kids and I don't have time to calculate sales tax at the end of the quarter by flipping through 1,000 little tickets. So we had to go the modern way for that.
and then just about some of our products too were, our 3 top sellers are dog food and dog gear, so treats, snacks within dog food. Birdseed is a gigantic seller, and deer corn is a gigantic seller. And then everything else we do is kind of supplements that. We have lawn care, we have poisons, we have animal control, we have stuff that deters squirrels, we have stuff that attracts squirrels, we have stuff that kills
people
moles,
love
we have
it.
stuff that annoys moles. An example of the old timers' knowledge, castor oil. Will never kill a mole, but they hate the smell of it for whatever scientific reason. So Mole Max, the product that we sell, is 10% castor oil.
Yep.
So again, old timers knew what the heck they were doing. Diatomaceous syrup, like I said, is ground up fossil shell. Instead of, I don't know if any rose gardeners here, but if you've ever used 7 Dust, or 7 Dust, right? It's 7 Dust without the poison. And we've done it before in October with spiders. We do a perimeter outside our house.
Sprinkle it on your doors. You know, They
And-
crawl through it, they die.
And then there were aphids at her mom's house that we took care of, we had mites that we took care of, and, you know, there's, again, so much knowledge there, and I love the fact that you all are trying to maintain knowledge being a historic society, so. I'll stop brown nosing. Any other questions?
It's a tin building, what's it like when it pours rain? What's it sound like?
Well, have you ever seen a colander? No.
Yeah. If you're standing under a colander, that's kind of what it's like.
There's some rooms that are totally unaffected, and it's
We have 2 spots that are
20 years
really neat,
old.
but it sounds wonderful, is what I think you're asking.
Yes.
And it does, and it's a great place for temperate weather. A nice rainstorm on a warm day is amazing, because you literally open the side door, and you just turn the fan on, and you're like, come on, cool breeze from the rain. But it is really nice. This past 2 weeks has been gorgeous. I mean, this weather, if it was like this all the time, oh man.
Absolutely.
It was like heaven in there. It wasn't hot, it wasn't cold.
People come in happy, they stay and
Yeah,
talk for a
they
while.
chat, they hang out. They come in the winter and they're like, hi, you need a corn came by, and they run out because it's like 40 degrees in there.
And just to add on to that, one thing that we really try to do, we try to carry it out for you. If, you know, we're trying to sell you a 50-pound bag, we'll split it up into 2 bags. So it's 25. So when you get home, you don't have to wrench out your back or mess up your wrist, and we'll work with you. Whatever weight is, a lot of stuff we get has to come in 50-pound bags, but we understand there might be limitations that people have.
Or we'll
So-
sell stuff by the pound too, we'll try to bulk
Or
stuff.
we'll do it by the pound, we take it out, we load it to your car for you. So that's also something that we look at. Yes?
Do you sell vegetable seeds? And if you do, where do they come from?
So, that's a very good question. So last season I missed we bought it in April and it was already a little late, and so I was like,
You need to buy in February.
kind of missed the window on that. And so this year I did some research and I spoke with his mom, obviously, but also my aunt who's a master gardener, and just got some ideas. And I ended up getting them from Seed Savers organization, which is out in Iowa, and it's kind of a grassroots beginning for them as well. Started really small, and it was just people saving heirloom seeds, and so a lot of the seeds they have are heirloom varieties or they're organic varieties. They don't do
Non-GMO.
Yeah, so none of that. And I bought a rack that was good for our climate, so it matched kind of our growing climate, and then just ordered as needed whatever was selling out. And I have the catalog, and one of the things that we kind of feel strongly about, and as part of being that resource for the community, is if you know you want certain things in your garden, come see me and tell me, and I will add it to my order and I will get it for you. And so that's where, we've had people say like, hey, can you get me a couple extra bags of winter wheat, or can you get some cereal rye? Yeah, I can get it. Because we have a small footprint, not a lot of storage, what I don't want is to buy a bunch of bags of wheat and then have it sit on my floor and then get bugs in it or then go back, So I'm not about waste, I don't like that at all. So I try to sort of really serve what the people are looking for, what people want. So I always encourage people, call us up and tell us ahead of time, I had somebody call and say, you have buck forage oats? I said, I don't know what that is, but tell me about it. And so found out I could get them, and we ordered them, and they were happy, and it was.
So when will your vegetable seeds come in? Because Mary, your mom, actually she gave the library a good deal one year on vegetable seeds, and that they gave away them.
Yeah.
And they were really nice.
I've talked to the Arnold Library branch
Well,
about
this
that.
was the Windsor, actually.
So
So when will your seeds actually be available to buy?
Well, we have them now, so they've been in, we've had them all spring, and so actually, the guy just sent me that email about I can return so many packs that you can sell. So we still have them in stock. One of the things she did that we didn't do this year is she used to sell in bulk, so she would sell them by the scoop. And I couldn't figure that part out yet, how to get them bulk like that, so I went with the packets, and so we have the packets. But we have them now, they're in stock, they've been in since probably March.
But will they be good for next year?
They lose their efficiency a little bit.
They don't guarantee them.
When will your new ones, when do you get when will you get?
It'd be in March, right?
Yeah, we usually do a big order in the spring, and then we sell through spring into summer, and then, What I didn't do this year that I've learned from, and I might do heading, in the next year, is order a little bump for those late vegetables, things you can plant late like carrots and cucumbers and things that'll do well in the fall. And so, but I'm learning. I wasn't a gardener. I've never had, so I'm learning so much of this as I go and learning from Mary and, all of that. So it's been a real education, but, come talk to me about it. And that's what we always tell everybody, like, when people ask me a question about a product, I say, well, what are you using it for? How do you use that? What's it for? I practically bore them to death with my questions, but I think it's important to be knowledgeable about what we're selling and giving to people. So I want to learn as much as I can before I put something on my shelf and sell it to somebody.
And that's one reason we have our property, it's our laboratory.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we give our
We
dog all the
experiment
dog treats.
all the
We, the deer boots that we produced, I put it out for the fawns and deer right away. So, and I set up a camera, so we're gonna catch them, and it's gonna be part of a marketing campaign, like, hey guys, I'm not gonna sell you trash. I'm gonna try it first. If it doesn't work, I'll let you know, and I won't even tell you. Like, we won't even buy it, but if it does work, I would like to promote it, and I'm sorry, guys.
Do you remember when feed came in a fabric bag?
Yeah.
Just
Those little
barely.
pea sacks?
And there's always a feeling to the fingers. For some reason, that's the first thing that came to my mind. But and we also had a ton of old feed sacks at the store. And they switched to paper. I know they switched to paper in the thousands, maybe in the 90s. I can't tell you very much. I wasn't paying attention in the 80s or 70s.
And now a lot of it's in plastic.
And we try to get, but if you want to see what's in the seed, people want to see what's in the bag, you gotta go plastic. But then, so we're working on something where you get it in paper to display in plastic. But we're one of, 97 more things to do. And then I saw a hangover this way, yes.
What's the history between the mill and Harold's Distributing?
Not much that I know of. I went to school with Tabitha, that's about it. And I know that Harold, we've always been really close with her. We were always close with the Harolds, that before they sold it to Jeff, I forget his last name. But in terms of that, we've pretty much just been kind of happy neighbors. And maybe there's a history there. I can certainly ask my mother, but I don't know of really anything with it. We have nothing but good.
They used to grade the mill, like whenever they were distributing, when they first started the distributorship. I thought they had like a.
She's not asking about Harold's Market, she's asking about Harold's
Yes,
Distributing.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our Tabitha and Carol, yes. So I don't know if there was something, with previous owners or whatnot. But, yeah, that'd be awesome to dig into to see if there was some sort of collaboration between the
And
two.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
They're distributing.
yeah.
Yep. That's interesting.
So,
Did you have a watercolor?
oh, we sure did.
Yeah.
So, you want
Thank
to get it?
Yeah.
So we had a gentleman who came in maybe 2 months ago and said, hey, I found this in a storage unit in Illinois. And I'm just so happy to be from Jefferson County and I saw it. Do you want it? And I was like,
It was one of those, like, you
Yeah.
just buy the whole storage unit, for a discount or whatever, and it wasn't even him, it was his buddy, I think,
was his buddy?
who paid for the storage unit and all its contents, and they were cleaning it out, and he was like, well, what's this? And the guy goes, I know that building, I'm from Jefferson County, I know where that is. And then he brought it to us, and we were like, yeah,
And there's a little bit of water damage, but I don't know when that painting's from, but it looks the same.
but it's
It
by
looks like the same darn building.
Rita
Is it her
Mathis?
name? Who paid it?
Rita Mathis.
So a funny thing about Rita Mathis, I suddenly look at that and I'm like, that looks so familiar. So people have given us artwork, pictures, artist renderings, drawings. We have 2 of these.
There's
At our shop.
another painting by Rita Mathis hanging on the wall.
A totally different painting. And I tried to get it off, I almost broke the glass over my head all the way here, so I stopped. But it inspires local people. I was eating lunch at, the Southern Place out in Festus. There's a picture of our building. In high school, with my friends, his friend's girlfriend showed me her photograph portfolio, picture of the mill. I said, can I have one of those? So yeah, so that's hanging up at the shop. People have taken artistic pictures of our cats, and we put them up. We love it. We love the interaction. And
It's also a popular place for engagement photos, when people come out and take them on the train tracks, or they take them with the building in the background, those kind of, people like those old time
Turn the,
photos.
no, the back.
Oh,
Oh, this?
One
This,
is- one is-
I know.
and a
The
2-for-1.
funny thing is,
All
So it kind of goes back to the first thing my father said, small world. Treat people well, you have no idea. And this Rita, I've never met, but she apparently loved the building too. So that's something that we have in common, and I just don't know who that is. And it's, you know, part of me sees that building as kind of all of ours. It's ours, but it's all of ours. It's something that, it's in the community, and it's something that, I'm a nostalgic fool who loves history, who loves family, who's a commercial broker who wanted to diversify. I had no choice but to buy this place. So I'm super happy that I did. I'm super happy to be able to share any sort of information with you. I'm more than happy to answer any follow-up questions or anything that you may have. And I'd love to see some of your faces there too, if you want. No pressure, you know, but
I've seen some.
I have seen some. And I didn't know what the membership was here, so I'm not trying to make you fight over it. But we did bring some sample honey from the gentleman produces it in Western Imperial, so 5 miles away. We
He
brought.
also sells at the Arnold Farmers Market.
He sells at the
That's
Arnold
where we
Farmers
found
Market.
him.
Sampled this honey for about 4 months. Made sure all the iterations were
My
good.
kids kept going back again and again.
Yeah, and you know, I am not gonna look you in the face and say buy this if I don't think it's good. So that honey is darn good. So
I stand behind
if you
it.
need more, give me a call. We sell it by 2 pounds, 1 pound, and whatnot. And then I don't know who has pets here or who has dogs, but we have a couple free dog samples too, if you just want to give it as kibble and treats. It is my life's mission to find affordable, healthy treats for everyone's dogs. I'm so sick of people trying to charge me $30 for a little toy or this or that. So I really try, you know, I'm frugal, and if I would buy it, then I buy it for our store. If I wouldn't buy it, I
Kind
don't
of
buy
where
it
we
for
draw
our
our
store.
line, like, would I pay for that?
$11 for an antler this big, no thank you. I'm gonna get you a cow cheek this big for $5, right? So, any other questions?
You also have these at our store, Gamely Gardener, which is a little weak, we do them at other places around, but this is such a great resource, tons of great articles, and they're free, they sit on our counter. You can come in and grab one, you don't have to buy anything, but it's just really neat, because it's really a lot about kind of what you can do in this season, and it's very relevant to where we are in this time of year, and what we can do in your yard or your garden.
Get you outside, get you in the sun, makes you remember what it's like to be a human being. And it's,
Do you still do archaeological digs in Ireland?
So, long story short, I texted my professor the other day. Not in Ireland, but we are talking about some things there, some things here, and I'm trying to get it kind of poked and going. So my archaeological digs in Ireland, it was through college. We went through County Roscommon, which is county east of Galway. Galway's on the ocean, so
I've
we're
been there.
all Roscommon or Galway. So Roscommon was the least genetically diverse county in Europe until I think Poland got in. So I don't say this as an insult. It did remind me a little bit of Jefferson County, not the inbreeding thing, but the rolling hills, maybe a little, but the rolling hills, kind of the being away from the city, good, hardworking, honest people. So what we did what do they call it? A survey of the Elfin diocese. So we identified where all these churches were from about, I think it was 1200 to 1400. Most of them were totally gone. We had to do historical records to figure out what was what. So first year was a survey. Second year we identified a place in Kiltshean, which is right by Lough Key, which is Lake Key, and apparently amazing fishing. But the place that we dug was in the 1280s, and it was I don't have a translation for you, but it's a law giving out center. So you have the Anglo-Saxons who moved on into England. Then you had the Normans in 1066 that pushed those guys out. Well, you had the Celts there who were there all along. So the Normans were pushing the Anglo-Saxons, who were then putting pressure on the Celts. So that line on where we dug was the frontier between the Anglo-Saxons and the Celtic people. So the Celts had built this tower, law giving out center, beer hall, cemetery, right outside. And then as Anglo-Saxons were coming in, they demolished it. And then we did find some timber within that. We absolutely found the exterior foundation of it, and then we actually excavated a cemetery. And this is, I love saying this fact, we had to wash our hands every time because we were worried that some of these were plague people. Plague does not die in the soil. So you had to wash your hands unless you wanted to be by plague. So I washed my hands, believe it or not. But we had started unearthing it, and we found a skeleton with a shotgun shell. So 1800s, 1840s, something like that. We kept on going down. Pipe, okay, that's 1700s. Tobacco didn't come here until the 1600s. Keep on going down. Suddenly, they're Christian burials, oriented east and west. When you die, you rise again to Jerusalem and see. Then suddenly, these kind of cockeyed people, then you have it like kind of buried in, and then these were what we feel are pagan burials. So then we got to pagan burial layer, then we kept on going. Then we got to the, hold on, let me make sure I get this right. I believe Neolithic was 1000 BC. So we found a Neolithic man who was 6'3", and then these medieval Irish who were 4'8". And because nutrition, the medieval Irish ate a really cruddy form of bread, and then the Neolithic people were eating berries, and we found red-tailed deer, which is an extinct species within Ireland. So we found all of that in this much depth within Ireland. So when I was talking about tactile history, I've been blessed. I've been where Joan of Arc was burnt and killed. I've been where Caesar was assassinated. I've been where Pointu Hawk, where they shelled, and Normandy Beach. And so in my mind, I mean, this isn't Joan of Arc. The mill is a great building. It's not Joan of Arc. But it's kind of the same theme. So I've always, my grandfather who bought this, my grandmother was an antiquer. So I have a Civil War cannonball. I have a 1950 ceremonial sword. I have a Civil War bayonet. I have a Civil War pocket knife. I have a World War II helmet for my grandpa, a World War I cot, which I might need to talk to somebody about. I saw the display here. I have a beautiful cot. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want it to go away. So I was going to give it to Jefferson Barracks, but we'll see. So really, really long-winded way of saying, I'm not doing any digs in Ireland soon, but I do plan on it.
He clearly misses it, if you can't.
I do. Well, it's, where else, you know, history, I love history because she's an English teacher. She needs to get the words exactly right. History is like, well, that happened like 1,000 years ago. She would think it happened 982 years ago. I'm like, well, same thing, right? No, it's not. Yes, it is.
Hey,
So,
Jeff, sounds like you should become a member, and you got a couple more programs to bring us.
Right,
Well,
I was gonna say. So one other night we could plan.
if you go to the St. Louis University Museum, you will see a picture of me doing electric, I always, ER, it was electric, not resistance, but resonance. And then I have the curliest hair, and I'm 20-something years younger, giving a big thumbs up, looking like a fool. Didn't know that I would make it into a museum one day, but here we are. But yeah, that would be something I would be, to be honest, I'd be open about talking about. So,
We thank you for this evening.
no, thank you so much. And I know I went on, and I know here's the mill, here's what I talked about. So thank you for listening. Let me know if you have any questions.